It's 2001. A new console developed by Microsoft called the Xbox just dropped onto store shelves across the country. Your parents bought you one because you begged them for weeks and sacrificed part of your life and energy to do chores for them up to that purchasing point. One of the first games you got was a first-person shooter with a green cyborg soldier on the cover, with aliens, ships, and marines in the background. You throw the disc into your console, and as the super cool Xbox boot screen comes into view, you can feel a sense of accomplishment as you wait for the game to load, and the payoff of doing all those chores tastes that much sweeter now. Next comes the Bungie logo with a cool short track to accompany it. And then finally, the menu appears. Right there in front of you, Halo's menu is shown with Installation 01 floating in the background. Instantaneously, the music kicks in, and you are greeted by beautiful Gregorian chants and a soft orchestral piece to follow. At this moment, you knew it was going to be a grand adventure. Halo as a game inspired many first-person shooters of today. It did something that no other FPS had done at the time, and that was blending that action-packed gun combat with a mysterious sci-fi story, alongside a beautifully arranged soundtrack to immerse you into this new world. But most importantly, it put you into the powered armor known as Mjolnir, and had you control a faceless hero, even furthering the immersion. Now, I'm not here to talk about Halo from the perspective of the game or its development history. I want to tackle something a little bit more unique. For me, when I play a video game, one of the biggest selling points is not the gameplay or story or developer logo stamped on the case. It's the music that I get to listen to while I enjoy the experience. Music in video games has now become just as crucial as gameplay and story. What used to be simple single-note melodies played on super basic chipboards has now evolved into full-on orchestrated pieces with live instruments and singer performances. In my opinion, Halo is one of the most memorable video game soundtracks ever. I believe this must do not only with the hype it got for being a launch title for a brand new console, and that it has such an amazing story with characters that can stand on their own, but the music being so carefully crafted for this game, for this entire genre more specifically, is what really stands out to me. So follow me on this journey of rediscovering our love for the music of Halo. Before I begin, I want to inform you really quick about the format of this video. I had a hard time figuring out how I should outline this video and discuss the music in Halo, since there are so many songs that we would need to analyze. Plus, I don't have a strong background in music theory, so I don't want to come off as authoritative or intelligent in that specific department. I simply want to express to you my thoughts and feelings that I got while enjoying this game. I figured the best way to do this would be to analyze it per level and the different music you hear throughout. I will also point out what is going on in each level or cinematic scene to solidify why the specific song in play is important for those situations. Now, back to the subject at hand. Let's start off with something really quick and probably unexpected. I'm talking about the menu music. Menu music for any video game is always important. In many ways, it can be like a pep talk before a big sports competition to hype you up and prepare you for what is ahead. Or, it can focus your mind, clear your thoughts, and capture your attention on the game that you decide to start playing. I personally believe that the menu music is important for setting the tone of the game. The game's music composers know this, and that is why some games have great menu music to tease the player with. In the case of Halo and Marty's brilliance, it foreshadows this grand adventure that you're about to go on. The first time I booted up Halo Combat Evolved was the Gearbox port for PC. When I first heard the Gregorian monk-style chants and the music picking up afterwards, it felt alien, mysterious, and also inviting. At this point, I knew only a small fraction about Halo lore. I never had played through the original games, and everything else was learned through the old Halo Waypoint videos. So I had nothing to base this understanding off of, nothing to relate to. This was all fresh and new. After the chants, a couple other tracks play, most notably the Halo track. I can't tell you how many times I would let it sit there in the menu just to hear that theme play in the background while I browsed the internet or wrote essays for high school and then college. Of course, these were the days way before music streaming platforms were mainstream, or I could get my hands on the audio CD. The music here made me feel excited for this new adventure I was going to start, and I wasn't disappointed afterwards. As the Pillar of Autumn pulls into view, you are accompanied with a somber track of strings describing to you the situation you are in. That this ship, drifting in space and lost, just encountered something new, mysterious, unknown. Without even having to read or listen to the conversation being had by Cortana and Captain Keyes, you can piece together what is happening just by the execution of the music being played and the story the music alone is telling you, the listener. Let's take a quick look first at this opening cutscene again. The scene opens up with soft strings gently setting the tone for the conversation occurring. Just by having the strings tell the story in the background really adds a mysterious tone. It gives you a sense of curiosity as to what is happening to this ship and its crew. You must think back to the time when this first released and how this game was brand new, the first one in its series. And you are thrown into the end of some story, but it's also the beginning of this game. It really sets you up for the rest of the game, having you focus on the story of this crew and soon to be introduced the main character, Master Chief, as they fight their way across the ring. As we progress through this, the tone of the scene changes and shows the hustling and bustling of the crewmen and Marines. After all, they are still in a war with the enemy right outside their ship. I always loved the military-style tracks in the Halo series. They were always easy to distinguish from other tracks across the series, and they serve as the theme for the UNSC. This is once again used after Master Chief is awakened and you are speaking with Keyes in the command deck. The remainder of this level uses a variety of strong tempo tracks to energize the player as they run around the Pillar of Autumn, eliminating the boarders. With this first level done, time to escape the ship and move down to the surface of Halo. The next level, Halo, is a special one for this game and franchise. It's the first level in which the player gets to experience a semi-open world environment as they drive around in their new toy, the Warthog, rescuing Marines from their crashed lifeboats. I believe a challenge that was faced during its original development was how to incorporate music in such a large environment that requires the player to traverse long distances and stop occasionally to unlock bridges or set up landing zones. I will say that for this first title, the audio team did a great job having a good balance of music and ambience throughout the level. For example, after having the crescendo of a crash landing in the beginning, you're given again somber strings as you get away from the lifeboat. Once you reach your first objective, the music changes and urges you that your current situation is still hostile, and you need to focus on protecting the Marines around you for the time being. To me, this is an important point for this level, as it establishes what your objective for the remainder of the level will be. Having the music and gameplay experience match each other in same tone adds such a great layer of entertainment for the player. Once you receive your Warthog, the music does continue to follow you, but after a while, it lets you go and allows you to enjoy your privacy as you explore this new environment. As for the rest of this level, there isn't much left to share. I honestly don't mind the large gaps of ambience here and there because it really allows you to focus in on the game and also the environment. It's a very similar experience if you watch a movie that doesn't have a soundtrack or uses a lot of ambience tracks. Sometimes, though, the overutilization of music can also break the pull the game does to you. After you finish collecting the rest of the Marines, it's time to dust off and head towards your next objective, rescuing the captain.
The enemy has captured Captain Keyes and are holding him aboard one of their cruisers, the Truth and Reconciliation. The ship is currently holding position approximately 300 meters above the other end of this plateau.
So how do we get inside the ship if it's in the air? Corps issued me a rifle, not wings.
There's a gravity lift that ferries troops and supplies between the ship and the surface. That's our ticket in.
Once we get inside the ship, we
Welcome
should be able to
to a
lock
great
onto
level
the
in this
tracking
game
signal.
that utilizes fantastic music and gameplay from beginning to end. We start the first half of the level with a covert mission in which Chief and the Marines are sneaking up to a Covenant cruiser that they need to board. Then later, we wander the halls of this massive ship looking for our captured captain and crew. To start things off, this level hosts a fan favorite song, Under Cover of Night. This song no doubt was written with this first half of the level in mind. With its groovy harmonic synth keys, vocal undertones, and a slight slapping bass line, it does an amazing job capturing this new environment. During the second half of this mission, we see another beautiful balancing act being done with the audio and level design teams, incorporating the firefights and tracks coming and going as the player moves throughout the ship. You get some really unique tracks like Alien Corridors, which is a fitting name for the situation, and Ambient Wonder, that really holds up to its name by filling your head with atmospheric curiosity. With the mission's end being the rescue of Captain Keyes and you escape from the Covenant cruiser, we make way to one of my favorite levels in this game.
The Covenant believe that what they call the Silent Cartographer is somewhere under this island.
One of my favorite levels in this game, the Silent Cartographer, starts off with a bang, which Halo games are famous for doing. It has you flying at breakneck speeds towards a beach, getting ready to storm it. Naturally, the Halo theme is played for this opening sequence and really had me hyped for the upcoming firefight. Every time I play this level, I really wanted to just jump out of the Pelican before it landed to add an even more dramatic effect to the scene. But we know how fragile Chief's knees were in this game. This opening scene and score truly captures Halo all in a single package. There are two songs that are going to be focused on in this level: The Gun Pointed at the Head of the Universe and Rock Anthem for Saving the World. Both really great titles that express in their name what each song is conveying. The Gun Pointed at the Head of the Universe, an amazing name for a song, is easily one of my top favorite songs in Halo CE. It comes with such a strong, triumphant tone that matches well with the warthog driving you do throughout this level, and the plethora of enemies you gun down. Real quick before I forget, another point I should bring up is that almost every level of this game that you end up exploring a Forerunner facility, a specific track always plays that adds more depth to the player's experience. I am specifically talking about tracks like Library Suite and Perchance to Dream. Both of these songs are sprinkled around this game like salt, and just like salt, they add more flavor to the environment and mental stimulation the player is experiencing. Rock Anthem for Saving the World is triggered after Cortana finds the location of the control room, and you have to fight your way back to the surface through waves of Covenant that you just cleared out earlier. It is an amazing song that I don't mind hearing on repeat while I die repeatedly on Legendary mode during the ascent. I feel like this track was a test run for having a strong guitar presence in Halo for future sequel games. Clearly, we weren't disappointed later on. Once we are topside, Echo 419 is waiting to take us for a ride inside the ring. From here, we make our way to the control room.
control center from here.
Good luck. Full hammer out.
Assault on the Control Room is such a great level because it combines aspects from both the levels Halo and the Silent Cartographer. It's a combination of massive overworld traversal, vehicle combat, and exploration. Once again, this is what Halo games are about. On a Pale Horse kicks in with its sharp strings, encouraging you to quicken your step while you race towards the bottom of the canyon. This song is reused later in different Halo games, and I believe is another familiar theme to the Halo franchise. I will also add that a majority of this level is pure ambience with not much music. A more toned down version of Rock Anthem for Saving the World is used here while you wander around these unfamiliar Forerunner facilities. When you reach the point in which you drive a tank through some of the level, the long run kicks in, which in turn increases your excitement as you destroy your way through the Covenant army with this new hardware. Perilous Journey makes its appearance in this level with a lighthearted, hop and skip type feel to it as it propels you forward towards the control room. Here is some trivia for you, and something that I actually recently learned. There was one song that got accidentally left out of the Halo CE soundtrack. The lost song is played in this level during your encounter with stealth elites. While I was reviewing the footage I recorded, I heard the song and was puzzled because I didn't recall seeing it on the list of tracks on the audio CD. After some quick research, that's when I discovered that it was accidentally left out. Another really cool Easter egg about this level too is the hidden song that was purposely left. Siege of the Madrigal can be found in two areas of this level, the beginning and the end. When you listen to the Halo CE audio CD, this song plays at the end of the song Halo after a couple seconds of the song's completion. As we close out this level, On a Pale Horse and a short part of Covenant Dance finishes off this portion of Chief's adventure as he is transported to the next area in which things get a bit more darker.
Transmission from the captain's dropship was from this area. That was over 12 hours ago. When you locate Captain Keyes, radio in.
From this point on, Halo Combat Evolved's tone becomes a bit more darker, as something new emerges from the depths of Installation 01. Up to this point, a more lighthearted, upbeat tone was portrayed through the music as you journeyed across the installation. For the Chief, it was just another day at work fighting the Covenant, but Halo can't be Halo without what comes next. By seeing the swamp in the opening shot, you can probably already tell that this level is going to be quite different from the last couple ones. This level does something that most of the other levels didn't need to have included. It utilizes a track what once was lost, which initially I thought was several layers of background audio files on loop. However, this is an official song which engulfs you like a chilling wind in the evening during the fall. As you shoot your way to the facility and enter, it's almost as if the audio team purposely maxed out the audio clip volumes for everything in this level. From the quiet footsteps of Mjolnir, to the scattered Covenant equipment emitting radio sounds, to the different Forerunner controls you interact with, during this level, you are 100% immersed with the environment. There are times that while you're investigating all the dead bodies, explosive residues, and broken equipment, that you can hear sounds in the distance, almost teasing you and beckoning you to explore deeper into the facility. The moment arrives in which Chief discovers the remains of the squad of Marines that had previously visited this place. Lament for Private Jenkins plays with its hushed strings and somber tone. As you review the video file of the incident, the tension is building for the crescendo once again sneaking up on you. Once your investigation is concluded, that long waiting tension has finally exploded with the flood breaking down doors as they rush to consume you. With that being said, you race topside to avoid being turned into a snack by the flood. At some point in this level, you will accidentally get lost and you end up taking a different elevator down, heading deeper into the Forerunner facility before eventually finding the right elevator. Devils, monsters, begins to ring in your ears as the sense of dread and anxiety overwhelms you as you find your way topside. Level concludes with Chief being warped away by 343 Guilty Spark to the library to grab the index for Halo, and the rest of your Marines having to fight for their lives against the flood.
We must collect the index before we can activate the installation.
Definitely one of the harder levels to play on Legendary, but one of the most satisfying when you complete it. The library takes the second half of the previous mission when it comes to its tension and stress in the music and stretches it for the entirety of this level. I believe the track Trace Amounts makes its first appearance in this level too. This track is interesting because it's another dedicated ambience track. Listening to this gives me Metroid vibes with its interesting sounds and tones. This is another track that does well to blend ambience and musical composition while you fight your way towards the top of the library. The music really picks up during the second half of this level as you reach your goal. I remember feeling the need to rush through this level, but having it cost me for not thinking clearly and making mistakes as the flood repeatedly killed me. This was especially true during the sequence of waiting for large doors to open and waves upon waves of flood are pouring over you. The track, Shadows, does a wonderful job of increasing your adrenaline and anxiety as you mow down countless numbers of flood enemies while standing your ground. Just thinking about it makes me shudder now. With the index secure, the key to dealing with the flood, we are teleported back to the control room. Two Betrayals is a mirror of Assault on the Control Room, not just in the level design, but also in the music and tone used throughout this level. Now with the flood being released and scattered throughout this level, I did have to change my approach on how I engaged in combat here and there. Sadly, there is nothing else really to say about this level in terms of its musical approach. Numerous songs are reused here. When you finish your final objective, a walk in the woods cues at the end of this level during your conversation with Cortana. This song is another famous Halo song that's had its fair share of different iterations throughout the years. Now with the ability to teleport safely, Cortana sends you both back to the Truth and Reconciliation for another rescue of Captain Keyes.
The Covenant network is absolute chaos. From what I've been able to piece together, their leadership ordered all ships to abandon Halo when they found the flood, but they were too late. The flood overwhelmed this cruiser and disabled it. The Covenant are terrified the flood will repair the ship and use it to escape from Halo. They've sent in a strike team to neutralize the flood and repair the ship for immediate departure. I've got a good lock on Captain Keyes' CNI transponder signal. He's alive, and the implants are intact. There's some interference from the cruiser's damaged reactor. I'll bring us in as close as I can. Oh, I see. The coordinate data needs to be... Right. Sorry.
Once again, Keyes is another mirror level similar to Truth and Reconciliation, in which you need to rescue Keyes again. However, his condition is different. A lot of the same tracks and tones are brought over from that level again, as you wander around the partially destroyed and infested Covenant cruiser looking for the captain. In addition, tracks that accompany the flood are played, giving you another layer of depth to this level that wasn't previously there. This is one of the shorter levels in the game, and there isn't anything new to discuss. Once you discover what happened to the captain, you formulate a plan with Cortana to detonate the Autumn's reactors to destroy the ring and the flood. With your daring escape utilizing a Banshee, Chief makes his way to the Pillar of Autumn. At last, the conclusion to this first chapter in the Halo franchise is coming to a close, and what a better way to end it than with a Fast and the Furious themed sequence. But at first, you witness a wrecked Banshee flying towards the Autumn, with the track, The Maw, playing along. This song gives you the sense of closing as this long journey of ours is almost over.
We'll make it.
Pull up! Pull up! You did that on purpose, didn't you?
After dealing with some pesky boarders again and destroying the reactors, it's time for that famous Halo sequence. Drum Run accompanies you on the first half of this race, while the Halo theme closes it out. This entire sequence is always a thrill to enjoy over and over again. With the ship exploding around you, running over enemies, and the countdown clock ticking away, it's a great way to close out a game. As the game closes out with the song Dust and Echoes, it gives you that time to reflect on what future lies ahead for Chief and Cortana. With Halo destroyed and your ship stuck in space, it is ironic how you have now gone full circle, just like a Halo, back to being in space, drifting. Thankfully, the series continued with the next installment, Halo 2, but I can't begin to imagine how players felt back in 2001 when they finished this epic journey. As we wrap up this grand adventure we completed, let's reflect a bit on what transpired. We embarked on an epic journey across the Halo ring, shooting our way through two dangerous groups of enemies, rescuing our fellow Marines, and blowing everything up in the end. That sounds like a basic plot to an 80s movie, but what makes this story most unique is the characters and storytelling that happens in between, and more specifically, the musical journey that you embarked on simultaneously. At the time, Halo introduced a new way of storytelling through the FPS genre and enhanced it with an amazing soundtrack. The Halo soundtrack does a fantastic job telling the story on its own. When it comes to its creation, you can tell that a lot of love and care went into it. This particular soundtrack set a standard for all future franchise title releases, and with each new release, the musical experience continued to grow and enhance our play experience. I hope now when you go back and replay this game, you can pay more attention to the music and let it lead you on this amazing journey of Halo. Thank you for taking the time to check out this video. I really enjoy sharing my thoughts about my passion for video game music and its impact on us the gamers. I hope that this video kept you interested, and if you never played any of the Halo games, I encourage you to check out the music for them. I am constantly listening to them throughout the week, and they never disappoint me. If you are interested in more content like this, please hit the subscribe button below and leave a comment for me to check out. You can find me on Rumble, Odyssey, Twitter, and Instagram if you're interested in following me. I enjoy discussing Bionicle, Zelda, and Halo topics across these platforms. Once again, thanks, and I'll catch you in the next video.